Hi there, I'm Darron Anley from Siren Craft Brew. I'm the founder. I think we're bang on time for 7 o'clock, so I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes just to see if anybody else joins us. Or you just crack on, actually. Cool. Okay, well, we've got a few more, so I'm just going to get stuck in today. So thanks for joining. We are in the last 6 days of our raise, and obviously, I'm sure you're well aware it's gone very well. We've exceeded our targets. We're now currently into overfunding. So thanks very much for anyone who's already pitched in with a pledge. My plan today, as the last of our Q&A sessions that I've been running up and down the country, is to just probably not go too much into detail about the company and our background and everything. I mean, I'm going to assume at this point that you've probably read the pitch deck and seen the video on our website. So I'm really just going to cut it down to the quick and give a really brief introduction to kind of where we are now, cover the raise, make sure we cover everything that's in there so you understand what we're raising the funds for. I know it's in the pitch deck, but try and add a bit of meat to those bones. And then get quickly into Q&A and see if anyone's got any questions for me. So first thing first, just as I say, quick introductory bit of background to us. We are 5 years old. We've built a fantastic reputation on a range of 6 flagship beers, one of which won the Supreme Champion Beer of Britain this year, GBBF. We're also well known for our boundary pushing, intriguing one-offs, series, project series and barrel-aged beers, included things such as limoncello, Caribbean, Caribbean chocolate cake, and Maiden, our anniversary barley wine. So at this point, we've grown to a team of over 30 people. We will produce over 2 million pints this year. We're selling nationally through Mitchells and Butlers, through Brewdog, through Fuller's, Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose, on top of a plethora of other small independent bar chains and restaurants and what have you. We actually export to 18 countries. And our turnover at this point is, we put in the pitch deck that we were going to hit 3.6. We're 1 month to go. We've just got December left to close out. I'll be surprised if we're not posting north of 3.7, which is great. It's been a great year for us. We've seen superb growth in the on-trade, bars and restaurants, etc. And the great thing is we see plenty of opportunity for that going forward. However, and this kind of brings me on to part of the raise and what we're looking to why we've been gone to CrowdQ for this raise. For the last 2 years, more beer has been drank at home and that it has in the pub and restaurant. And why is that important? Well, for us at the moment at Siren, we only pack our small pack in bottles. And what do I mean by that? Well, small pack is essentially bottles and cans. Large pack is cask and keg. So small pack actually has attracts a much higher margin and a different price per litre. We're currently packing our small pack at about 20%, which is quite small. So compared to our many of our peers and our friends, the ratio of that split is much different, much more along the lines of 40% into small pack to 60%. So there's a huge opportunity for us that we're not taking part in at the moment. And the other aspect that's worth mentioning is that many of our bottle shops, online retailers that we deal with, the difference in bottle sales to can sales now is coming in at 20 to 24 cans to 1 bottle. So there's a huge opportunity there. So that kind of brings us on to why have we gone crowdfunding? Well, Siren up until this point has been fully funded by both the profits that we've reinvested into the business. However, for us to take the next step to canning line, I've always said that I'll only do it at the point where we can do it with equipment that's going to keep us in line with the same quality and consistency that we're used to from our bottling line. And that's pretty difficult with a can, being as you can't you can't suck the air out of a can like you can with a bottle. And air is the biggest enemy of beer and its shelf stability. So really, you're then looking at a very big capital expenditure project to do that, which is why we're at the point where we're looking at crowdfund. So as you're aware from our pitch, we've got a target of 750. However, our capital expenditure is minimum. excuse me, is a minimum of 1.3 million, rising up to a maximum of 1.8 million. And depending on the canning line that we go with, so that's a big capital expenditure. So I'm sure you can see that's the reason why we're reaching out to the crowd for this. The rest of what is required will be asset financed. So for every penny that goes above the 750, that gives us choices as to improving some of the equipment purchases that we want to look at. And it also helps us to alleviate some of the finance charges, the finance costs that we're going to have to do to bridge that gap between where we end up in the 1.3 to 1.8 million. Hopefully that all makes sense. And I'm sure if it doesn't, you'll ask me some questions about it shortly. On top of the canning line, which is by far the biggest single piece of expenditure we'll be going for, we're also looking at new tanks to be able to allow us to provide the growth that we're looking for over the next 3 to 5 years. We're also looking to add quite a lot of extra equipment to our lab facilities as it stands at the moment. And then on top of that, we're also looking for a number of efficiency bits of kit to help our efficiency so that we can grow the volume, keep the productivity, keep the quality, and keep improving on that, but obviously keep it where it is at the moment, but without having to add to our team in the same way as we have done in that linear fashion to ensure that we keep profits growing at a fast rate. And that's pretty much what we're looking to raise the funds for. So that's kind of where we're at for crowdfunding. So really now at this point, excuse me, I'm here to throw the doors open and see who's logged in. And if you've got yourself a proper login, then you're able to fire away some questions. So fire away, and I'll see what I can do to answer them as best as I can. In the meantime, I'm going to dig out some questions that I have already while we're waiting for people to get their typing fingers going. All right. Okay. Nothing just yet. Okay. So probably one of the most prominent questions that's come up on the tours that I've done so far is, what size cans are you going to go for? So let's kick on with a nice, easy question. We are currently looking, the line that we're looking at is going to be able to cope with all sizes, but we feel our flagship range will definitely go out in 330 mil. Outside of that, we're going to keep the opportunities open. Haven't decided exactly. We will actually come out to our customers. We'll go out to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and ask you what you guys think. My personal opinion is I'd love to see all of our stuff in 330s as opposed to 440s. I always find 440s a little bit too much, but I might be in a minority on that one. So got a couple of questions coming here. Let me fire away with some of these. Okay, so this is from Crazy Chimp. Are you hoping to get into any of the big supermarkets, Morrison's, Sainsbury's, Tesco, etc.? So we've got a number of conversations that have been ongoing. That have been for a number of years. We felt at this point, up until this point, that we weren't ready for that kind of move. I think we are at the moment, but at this point, we've not got anything that we want to say. Yep, we're at this point with any of those. But we've got a number of conversations ongoing at the moment. It's definitely a possibility. I think when we go live with cans, it's going to be a conversation that we weigh up internally here to say, can we do what we need to with the independent bottle shops that we already deal with? Can we get that increase in volume from there? It's a tough question. I'm not sure that for a lot of them, the core and flagship ranges are not necessarily where they sell their most volume. So we're early days, but I think there's a chance that's going to be a route we look at. So yeah, hopefully that's answered your question. Thank you. Okay, second question from the original Worth It. Oh, I'll spell that right. Hi Darren, glad to say we invested a few weeks ago and are pleased you hit the target. Will the whole range go into cans or will you still bottle some beers? Great question. So again, that one's up for debate at the moment. We're working through, and keep the questions coming, please. No, it's quite funny watching me having a look over the top right-hand side of my corner. Sorry. So yeah, in terms of our flagship range and what's going to go in, and we haven't decided yet. I think it's. I can say with 100% certainty that Soundwave will be going in there. I can say with 100% certainty that Broken Dream will be going in there, and Calypso. Outside of that, we're up in the air. Got a few other questions that, or a few other things we're thinking about. Maybe bringing in a new core as well. Who knows? But those three are pretty much nailed on certainties. I mean, let me know if you've got some thoughts on what should go in there. Tell me, and we'll certainly keep it under consideration. So I've got a couple of other questions in here. All right. So from Simon Tomlinson, hi. Will you be looking to open bars in other cities like Brewdog and Northern Monk? We'd love to see a bar up north. So yeah, great question. Thank you for that. We did actually put on our pitch that we, if we're lucky enough to overfund to the tune of 1.5 million, then we would definitely be looking at a minimum of two bars. So one of the other questions we got asked probably more often than what size cans are you doing, are where are they going to be? I think we're not going to well, who knows? We've got 6 days. I think it'll be a tough ask to get to the 1.5. So we'll see where we get to. Our two main areas of thinking were we'd love to have something locally. I think Reading would be a really sensible, fantastic place for us to put a Siren Tap Yard. Outside of that, probably our other main areas that we were looking at were Bristol and Leeds. I think Leeds is a fabulous city. Love Leeds. And you know, we also don't have a huge presence up in the north at the moment, so it felt like a really great place. So you know, I wouldn't say that they're definitely off the cards. They're just not on our immediate plans. Where you know, if we'd have hit the 1.5, we would have to start planning those fairly quickly. But we're not at that point now. So it's definitely an ongoing consideration, but not for right now. So back to Crazy Chimp. Any future collaborations with other craft brewers in the future? So yeah, we've got a number of things on. I'm sure if you stay tuned for the content on that, I'm sure we're putting up lots of interesting information about what we're doing with them. That's very exciting. We just brewed with Northern Monk last week. Colin came down and we had out a super juicy IPA. We've got Track Brewing coming out fairly shortly, slightly before Christmas, and then we've got a whole host of things we're looking to do for January. So, yeah, we're certainly planning on keeping the collaboration train rolling. It's a fun part of what we do. We get so much fun out of it, but more importantly, we also learn a lot as well. So, yeah, so we'll certainly be keeping that going. So, from Pietro, do you have any plans for expansion abroad? Well, we've increased already this year the number of countries that we're exporting to. We're definitely doing a lot more work and effort locally in country, whereas I think perhaps 2 years ago we were able to just send beer and not people. Now we are much more actively taking part in festivals and running events in various countries. So yeah, I mean our export market is definitely something that we're looking to keep growing. At the moment, it's around about 20% of what we do. I don't expect that to grow as a percentage, but certainly we'll keep growing what we're doing there. Do you plan to do any contract brewing for other breweries from Crazy Chimp? It's not a likely proposition for us. We don't have the space for it, to be honest. With the canning line that we're looking at, there could potentially be opportunity to can for other breweries if they ship their beer in to us in a tanker. We could potentially have that. That's not something that I'm looking at the moment, but we definitely don't have the space and the capacity here to brew for other contract breweries at the moment. So no, that's not something we're looking to do. So from our export to Poland, please. Well, we have actually just started, I think, about a month and a half ago. So hopefully you will start to see a bit of beer going out that neck of the. In fact, you already should do. We probably shipped a couple of pallets. So I'm sure conversation offline. One of our guys will be able to find out where's pouring our stuff. I said I didn't I? Sorry about that. I'm not in IT anymore. But yeah, we are exporting to Poland, and I believe we're early next year. So, yeah, we're looking to do that. So great. Well, I'll wait for some more questions coming. While I wait for some more questions, I'll talk through some of the ones I've already fielded at various. How do you feel about? How do you feel on Siren? I think the truthful and only answer to this is no one knows at this point. The steps that we've taken to this point are and to limit our exposure as best as possible to the place. Our exposure is down on where it has been in previous, and yeah, I mean, obviously nobody knows what's going to happen. Our biggest concern until recently has been getting sure that we've still got access to our raw materials, namely our hops, which go into Belgium, and I've been told that we're pretty clear on that. So obviously there are a number of concerns, but I think we're 100% confident that if we had to lose all of our European business next year, it would be painful, but it certainly wouldn't be life-threatening at all. So it's manageable. It will be painful, but I think that goes unfortunately for all of us in this boat. Crazy Jim, do you want to just expand on that one a bit more, and then I can. If you want to just expand on that, I'll hit off on something else while I wait for that one to come back. But yeah, if you just give me a bit more about what you want to know about our marketing plans. EIS is another question that comes up regularly. So there are some people that aren't aware. So our raise is fully EIS approved. What that essentially means is that if you are a UK taxpayer, you are entitled to claim back 30% of your investment in Siren against your income tax for this year. There are plenty of rules around there. There's also an ability to claw back a little bit of, I think something like 20% of, well, not claw back actually, so that's the wrong terminology. You're allowed to defer any capital gains tax as well for a period of time, or until you sell past the qualifying period. What I suggest is that you go online and read all about EIS if you don't know the ins and outs of it. I think just at this point, it's worth mentioning, because not everybody is aware that you can get a 30% or you can get a rebate on your income tax for last year based on whatever investment you put in for this. So I've got any new marketing campaigns, drives, and promotions, etc. Okay, thank you. Yes. So we've got a number of series that we're working on this year. Can't tell you too much about it, but I'm pretty sure it'd be safe to say that Project Barista will be coming back this year. So we'll have a full plan and a full promotional drive around that for next year. It was a really good project for us this year, one we thoroughly enjoyed. It was its second year this year, and it was actually really encouraging to see that there are a lot of people that share our for beer and coffee, and are very excited to. We're very excited to see it come back last year. So we'll be pushing again forward with that this year, and looking to take that both for a party here at the brewery, but also take that on the road. Obviously, we're going to do a load of work around getting the cans once that launches. I think it's fair to say that when we launch, we'll have obviously the flagship beers that we go live with, but the intention is to have a number of other interesting, fun things just to really little one-offs that we can just excite and tease everybody else along with to launch the new canning line, which we're very excited about. Timing for that is up in the air at this point. Close out the funding campaign and everything, but I think we're hoping that we can have canning line in place and in situ for somewhere around about May or June. So I think realistically June, July is when we should be able to look forward to seeing some cats from Siren. So that answers your question. We do have another project that we are looking at running. I feel like I don't want to say it out loud because it's a project we've been supposed to be doing for the last couple of years, but I kind of feel perhaps if I get here live on the internet, then maybe I'll have to make sure it happens. But we've had this project that it's been in incubation for a while called the Chefs Project, which is where we're going to do collabs with 4 top chefs, and off the back of that, we'll release those beers individually with some events with those chefs where they pair up some food with that, and then we'll bring that together in a gala dinner towards the end of the year, where each of the chefs will cook a course to pair with the beer that they've produced with us, and get up and come up on stage. Stage probably a grand word, but comes in and stand up in front of all your customers and talk about themselves, the beer, the food, and how it all works together. So yeah, there you go. I've said it now, so we're going to make it happen. Great. Any other questions at this point? Andy, have you been seeing anything come up on Twitter or DMs that you've been getting? All right. No. Cool. Well, look, I'll sit here for a minute or so and just kind of round things off. Obviously, if anybody's got any questions, fire them up and I'll answer them as we go. Oh, there you go. Why no more Rainbow Project? Oh, it's a project that I think a lot of people felt was from the brewers' side. It's a challenge. It's a challenge coming up with a beer that's inspired by a colour for 5 or 6 years in a row, and a few other breweries just felt move on to something else. I'd have been quite happy to continue it, and I think there were a few other breweries that were of the same kind of mindset. But actually, I'm really happy with what we've done. I mean, it's so it hasn't actually died. It's actually currently in the custodianship of Left-Handed Giant. So those guys are running with it for the next period of time. They've picked 6 new breweries to run with it. The concept will stay the same: 7 breweries, 7 colours, and they will pair themselves up with 7 international breweries as well. And Honest Brew, I believe at this point, will still support them for the mixed cases. So it's not dead. It lives on, but it's gone on to a new incarnation. So we're really happy with that. Gives us the opportunity to branch out and try some of the other ideas that we've been thinking of. So maybe that's why this year our Chefs Project might kick off and actually gain some traction. So right, I've got a few more questions just coming up here. Have you thought about enhancing brand loyalty via a website, forum, more interaction between Siren and shareholders, or any other ideas? Hi, Simon. Thanks for that. It has been something we've talked about. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we've got too much further with it. We've actually only recently redone our entire website, and it was a very time-sensitive thing for us to get it done. Our old website was really creaking at the bones, and we really felt it needed to get done quickly. So we really focused very hard on making sure that we could get a functional website that people could order off of safely and securely as quickly as we possibly could. So we haven't gone. It's on the discussion point. I wouldn't say it's something we're definitely going to do, but it's definitely something that's been discussed, and it's something also discussed around for the for our investors. Obviously, it does come with a pretty high overhead in terms of us being able to monitor and keep an eye on it. But it's, obviously it's for us. We've now got, I think at the moment it's something like 1,200 new investors. So it's hugely important that we keep our lines of communication open and you guys up to date with what we're doing. So yeah, we're looking at all our avenues at the moment, so how we actually go and implement that in the best way. So hopefully that answers your question there. Where are we? No worries, Crazy Chimp. Got another one down here. Brilliant. Okay, sorry, just reading some comments there. So yeah, thank you to the original Worth It. You're welcome. You can thank the Heart Pub. So yeah, we'll thank the Heart Pub for getting you your first taste of Broken Dream. That's brilliant. Is Caribbean chocolate cake available on the online shop now? I think Andy's already dived in there with that one. No, it's. Oh, okay, all right. No, he's hit you up there with. He's hit you up with that up already. So yeah, we've got for anyone who wasn't aware, we've got four releases of Caribbean chocolate cake this year to go with it. They're all super tasty. Got a brand new barrel aged version, been sitting in bourbon barrels for the last year. We've got a slightly tweaked version of Caribbean chocolate cake, straightforward edition, which is tasting absolutely beautiful. A Jamaican spice cake edition. And we've also got Death by Caribbean chocolate cake, and I'm sure you can guess where that's heading. So it's a slightly more imperial version, and it's again, all four of them are tasting great right now. Cool. Well, I think we're kind of done for questions. So I'll excuse me. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to say thanks very much for listening in. It's been great fun doing these Q&As around the country. I've got to meet a lot of our investors as well as future investors. It's been hugely informative for me to find out what our customers want and what they're interested in and what and it's given us some good thoughts and focus for what we should be doing in the coming year. So it's been great. It's been really interesting, and I've loved meeting you all. So as I say, thank you very much. And for those of you who already invested, again, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing as many of you as we can over the next couple of years at our AGMs and investor parties. And without your help, the canning line would be somewhere away at this point. So we're super grateful for you all getting involved, and we look forward to sharing in some great success going forward. So, Simon, you're welcome. Thanks very much. So, brilliant. Great stuff. Thank you, Crazy Jim. That'd be great. All right, guys. Well, look, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the other side. And we'll be hopefully posting up some. Well, we've already reached the end of this year, so to do an AGM, but we will hold an investor-only party in lieu of that. So we'll make that a fun thing to happen, and we'll be announcing that fairly soon. So hopefully we'll get to see you all soon. Great. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.